to play it. You know, I'm too aggressive, too aggro from playing, you know, years of CTF. Oop, I want to join on a spectate. Yeah, I mean, DeSnakes is kind of one of those players that, you know, he'll use whatever's OP. All right, so back in, and they're going to play on array. Same players, legionz versus pimpjuice. And the first frag is going to legionz, but that was much the same way that ASDF started. So you can't necessarily glean too much about what's going to happen off of that frag. But typically when you do get that first frag, it turns into map control. As you see legionz pick up that first armor and get himself a second frag on to pimpjuice, who is now looking to pick himself up the minigun and keep his distance until he can get himself a bit of a stack and a better gun to engage against legionz. He does have a shock rifle, though, so actually, I guess I missed him picking that one up. That is a pretty solid gun to have if you're at distance, but when you get into this close range, that could be a mistake. But great timing by pimpjuice, knowing that that belt is coming up at the 14-minute mark, but unfortunately, he's cornered here, and legionz taking full advantage with the rocket launcher. Doesn't allow him to get out scot-free with that belt. That could have been an opportunity for pimpjuice. Getting that belt, if he was able to get out of there, you could do that kind of wall dodge to get up out of the dead end. But smart play by legionz to contest it. As now you see another fight. Interesting to see pimpjuice favoring the primary from this distance. I'd actually like to see him try to drop out more combos. And what you can do is shoot out multiple secondaries and then try to hit the one that's most appropriate to where your opponent is at. Because obviously he's going to try to dodge the combos. But if you lay him out kind of in a spread area, it doesn't matter where he goes. If you can combo proficiently, you can hit the one that's closest to him. And then follow it up with a primary, because as I mentioned earlier, it just does so little damage. Oh, and a little bit of a mistake. pimpjuice trying to do what I said earlier and kind of get out of the dead end. But he did pick up the belt, and this time legionz, only having 31 HP, decides not to contest. And pimpjuice, I think he missed the wall dodge there as he was trying to pick up the health, as he's a little short, but has the stack advantage and uses the flak to finish him off. So now he's on the board. 3-1, 12.5 minutes on the clock. And I think legionz actually used his lucky spawn. I don't want to call it lucky. It's just part of the game. He used his spawn to pick up that armor. But already pimpjuice trying to close the distance, and I like that primary usage there. He was actually shooting the secondaries of legionz, popping his own bubbles in his face and doing significant damage. But again, you see them backing off as they were both extremely wounded, and that's kind of typical of their passive playstyle. You're seeing legionz trying to set himself up to pick up this next belt because pimpjuice has gotten both of them so far in this map. There you go, pimpjuice getting his third belt of the map, but still a lead for legionz, so it hasn't translated into scoring. In fact, I think he gave up a frag on that first belt take, but I think keeping it out of legionz' hands was more important than giving the frag, because he realizes, oh no, steps around the corner right into the defensive rockets of legionz. That's kind of one of those spray and prays that he's probably surprised, or legionz is surprised he connected with. And great movement from legionz. You saw that wall dodge to close the distance and use that rocket launcher to finish off that belt stack. That's going to get him the armor. And now he's got pimpjuice back on his back foot. He's going to want to try to turn this into the next belt pickup, but he's not really in a position to do so. Has no idea where pimpjuice is at. And this is actually pretty smart play by pimpjuice to not allow legionz to get a beat on him. He's going for that belt. And great timing by legionz, actually, to get there a little bit early. And I think that was a mistake by pimpjuice as well. It kind of put himself in harm's way by going into the belt area, which is a dead end, again, a little too soon. It wasn't up yet. He didn't have enough armor or weapons to contest legionz when he came down there and cornered him. So he got the frag and then got the belt. It looked like he tried to bait the armor a bit and did do some damage, but pimpjuice was able to pick it up. So with about 10 minutes left, it's a 4-frag lead for legionz, who's shown some really impressive movement. I've enjoyed watching the fluidity of his movement. Let's actually watch from third person just to kind of get a better idea of all the wall dodges you see him using. You could still see the stack. He's got himself 114 HP and 121 armor. Going to try to contest this next belt. And again, pimpjuice getting there a little early. And that's a big mistake. As I said, this is an area that if you're at a disadvantage, if you don't have the equipment, if you don't have the armor, you're probably going to die 99 times out of 100 against a player equal or greater your skill because you're cornered. There's nowhere to go. And as a result, Legion's going to easily get the belt and extend his frag lead to 6. And there you see some more of that wall dodge movement from Legionz. But, you know, despite the fact that Legionz is down, we saw him rattle off 7 frags in a row on ASDF. Now, this is a bit different map. But he's fully capable of doing it, as he has taken off the armor of Legionz. And given that Legionz only has 114 HP, this is an opportunity for pimpjuice to pick up a frag. Nice elevator combo there, but doesn't do too much damage to pimpjuice. As Legionz picks up that next armor, and it looks like pimpjuice is going to try to get himself the belt instead. And he does. Legionz basically conceded it, despite the fact that he knew pimpjuice was down there, but that combo was perfectly timed. And that's a great example of map knowledge and the timings, kind of the internal timings of, okay, I heard the belt taken. He should be coming around this corner. If he's coming this way, about now. And he nailed it with the combo. Now he has him cornered despite the fact he has only 3 HP. Connects and gets the frag. And that was an important fight. Because if Pimp gets that frag, he could be off to the races. That could have been an opportunity for him to start collecting the power-ups like he did on ASDF and go on a run. But instead, Legionz hanging on for dear life by a fingernail. Gets the frag with 3 HP. And again, pimpjuice still fighting from behind. Another belt pickup for Legionz. Probably even in the belt department, but I would guess that more of the armors have gone to Legionz. Again, that's a feature that we've asked for, and I think it will be coming shortly, is HUD timers and HUD stats as far as like pickup percentages. So that fight there over the armor goes the way of pimpjuice. Legionz able to back off. And you see pimpjuice stacking up again. Both of these players, they have good instincts on knowing when their opponent, actually, it seems like they have good instincts on knowing when to back off. But they both do it at the same time, which makes for kind of a passively played game. But that's the smart duel mentality, and something that I struggle with is, you know, knowing that, hey, I've got 75 HP and no. Oh, that rocket was beautiful. Connects right to the grill of pimpjuice. Erasing him, and the belt is up. Great timing by Legionz. He's going to pick it up, but he is cornered. Let's see if he can get out of here. Nice. There you go. That's the double wall dodge you want to use to get out of there quickly. Prevents you from getting cornered. A lot of people complain about that belt location and how it's set up. I kind of like the dynamic because you have to know that move to get out of there safely. There's several other ways you can do it. We saw pimpjuice try to do the, I think it was a shock secondary jump, and it didn't work so well. But, again, Legionz using the, oh, wow, the rocket, and then follows it up with the boot jump, not the boot jump, but I guess the pad jump combo. And hitting the rampage. Legionz is on an absolute roll right now. Maintaining control of the armor. Got pimpjuice cornered with nothing but an enforcer, and I don't know if pimpjuice is on tilt. Didn't even look like he was trying to escape there. He just kind of decided, hey, I'm just going to stand here and fight him with the enforcer. Hey, what's up, Tetsu? Yeah, I guess the bug stopped happening. See you, Payback. Thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. I'll definitely be on tomorrow night. It may be early, it may be late. I'm not sure. May have band practice tomorrow. I'm not. But if we do, it'll be early, so it'll probably be done at like 9, which means I should be start streaming by 10. But if I don't, I'll try to start at like 8 or 9. But yeah, man, thanks for hanging out. Always a pleasure. You take it easy. And Tetsu, yeah, I don't know. I haven't really changed anything. I just joined the server as I normally would, and the bug wasn't happening. So Certainly happy that that's the case because I'm back to what I should be doing, casting. And this one's turned into a runaway for Legions, but it's not like pimpjuice hasn't had his chances. And speaking of chances, this could turn into one for him. That was actually quite savvy of him to come at him through the elevator, finish him off with a minigun, and set himself up to pick up that next belt. So he's got 5 minutes on the clock, but he's going to have to start chipping away at his lead now. Whoa, the rockets from Legion are surgical. My goodness, he connected with so many and took that belt right off of him. And I don't know, that's I don't like to say a game is over, but it's getting close to that point now, even though there is 4 minutes on the clock. Just seems like Legions has a firm grasp on things. 14 frag lead here with 14-15 on the clock as he picks up another armor. And Legion's showing great movement, timing, and awareness on this particular map, which is a race. And one that I haven't seen a whole lot of. I haven't cast many games. It seems like most of the games that I watch, they're either on deck or, well, it's one of the top two are, I think, Leah and ASDF, and then you see deck and this map played quite a bit as well. But Legion's picking up that next belt. And he should run away with this one. I mean, maybe pimpjuice can get aggro and close the distance a bit more, but good gosh, the rockets of Legions are so on point right now. And again, finishing him off with the rocket launcher. Just laser pinpoint precision with them. And from distance as well. I agree somewhat, BNS, that Pimp gave it away. He had opportunities, like I mentioned in ASDF, where he did come back and take advantage. I feel like some of the biggest mistakes he made was early on going to the belt too soon. Like, he would go to it with maybe 15 or 20. See, here's another same thing. Going to the belt too soon when he has a disadvantage. You can get away with doing that in this area where it's cornered if you have a stack, if you have the weapons. But you can't really go there, especially if your opponent knows you're there and he's timing as well, when you're at a health disadvantage, you don't have a good weapon, because he's just going to come down there, get the frag, and then get the belt. So what should be happening is you sneak in and try to pick it up as it's spawning. But kudos to Legions for obviously taking advantage of what pimpjuice was giving him. I mean, it's kind of a two-way street. Both players are going to make mistakes. It's all about who capitalizes on his opponent's mistakes and obviously mitigating the damage of your own mistakes. Because, obviously Legions didn't play this flawlessly, but he took full advantage of some of the errors that I feel pimpjuice made, and on the flip side, mitigated, the frag damage when he did make a few mistakes. The Legion's looking quite solid, particularly on this map. And that's another really interesting and exciting element about the dual seed, is that you start to see certain players really flourish on different maps. Legions obviously had a solid performance on ASDF, but pimpjuice seemed much more comfortable, especially... Oh, Doctor, that air rocket was beautiful! And you can see Legion's still clicking on all cylinders, despite the fact that he has a huge lead here. But to complete my thought from earlier, it seemed like pimpjuice was more comfortable on ASDF, and you'll start to see duelers put their stamp on maps. To go back to UT99, a guy like Bled, Paradigm, whatever you want to call him, he was like the quote-unquote GOAT, the greatest of all time on deck. He was just the master of that map. But you could probably beat him on some other maps. And I think you'll see, Hypno looked like he's probably the GOAT right now on Leah, at least in the current scene of UT4. But that's the interesting thing about a duel. Typically in a competitive game, you're going to play a BO3, where you might have a random tiebreaker, maybe you do an elimination, or maybe each opponent picks their own map and you play them. So if you can learn one or two maps, or if you can learn two maps, you can you can challenge people. The key is to learning the maps that are going to be heavily played, and then having a map that you think you can win against an opponent at any time. Like, what is your go-to map to win?
6, 5.
You got to have that if you're going to be a top dueler.
2, 1.
Really strong performance there by legionz, though. Wins by 20 frags, but I think it could have been a lot closer if pimpjuice played a little bit more disciplined and didn't expose himself at the belt before it was going to come up. And there you see pimpjuice saying rough games on this map. I think a lot of that has to do with his, I would assume, inexperience on it, where obviously legionz looks quite polished and fluid with the wall dodges, the timing, and utilizing that belt corridor to pick up some easy frags when his opponent goes down there too soon.